Welcome to the TechSource.tv. My name is Dan, and today we're taking a look at a pretty different case now. I have it beside me. This is the Pc-Q15 from Lian. Now you might be saying, well, they're well known for making monstrous cases that are just crazy big. Well, this is an ITX case. As you can see, it's not that big at all. I can actually pick it up. And check this out. It's got little wheels on it. I don't know why, but I can do this now. But anyways, today on the TechSource.tv, we are reviewing the Pc-Q15 ITX case. So we're going to take a look at the exterior styling of the Pc-Q15. Now, as you can see, it's got an all aluminum finish on the outside, which is expected from Lian. But on the front, we got this really cool kind of, looks like a dual level system. So we got where the DVD drive gets installed in the top. And then we got this like cool little line where the aluminum actually folds in, which is like adds a nice styling. It's not just a box. Then on below that you got your power button, your two USB 3.0 ports, and then a ventilation port. And behind that is a 120mm fan. So that's some of their features. On the back of the case, we find lots of things. Lots of ventilation here, ventilation for our power supply, and also it's removable with 4 thumb screws. Now, I might be wondering, well, hey, where's the screws to hold the side panel on? I'll get to that in a minute. There's no screws on both sides to get the side panel on. It's really neat how this case holds them on, but we'll get to that. Also, we have this cool thumb screw here to basically adds like kind of a security to your PCI Express slot, plus there's a screw there that holds it. So we have one expansion slot. We have our aisle shield plate that's installed here. I've misplaced mine as usual because I take all my PCs apart so much they just get lost in the mountains of computer parts we have laying around here. Also, it's got this cool little hole here specifically designed for your USB 3 ports. So the USB 3 ports are actually controlled through the going through actual external USB 3 ports. They don't plug in as an internal 20-pin connector. This is good and bad in two ways. It's great because you can do USB, you can convert back down to USB 2, which is awesome. So if your motherboard doesn't have USB 3, sweet. So you're good there. And also if your motherboard doesn't have an internal USB 3 header, you can go back to USB. You can now do USB 3 on the front because you have no internal header. Like me, there's no internal header, so I have to do them through the back, which is awesome. So then I get them in the front. But because of that, I lose 2 in the back. So it would be kind of nice if they made me but I know with newer ITX boards now, with future ones coming out, they all have the 20-pin connector, so it would have been nice to have the 20-pin connector, or at least a converter that goes from this to the 20-pin connector would be nice to include in the box as well, so that'd be kind of nice too. But overall, it's still a great idea having this because it's compatible with more motherboards, and I know ITX is pretty small, so there's not a lot of room for that. Now, how do you take the side panel off? You might be wondering. A typical aluminum case has screws. You know, you'd maybe have 6 or 8, maybe 8 to 10 screws on the sides. You'll have like 3 screws here, 3 screws here, you know, all the way around. That's typical for your aluminum cases. Now, that was typical for the last Lian case we did for our budget PC. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Also for the other full-size tower aluminum case we had, but it had like thumb screw style on the side. Well, this one is totally different, and it's by far the best system. Even Dave's Lian case he uses for his latest build uses these screws. Now, this is the first case I've ever seen that's aluminum that uses this system, and I think all aluminum cases should be going forward towards us. So check this out. See this little tab here? You just pull on the side and give it a swift tug, and the side comes out. So it's held in with these awesome little metal push pins, pretty much that push into all these little holes here. So there's one on the top here, there's 2 on the side, 1 in the middle here, and 2 more on the side here. And basically exposes the entire case. So you pull off the other one, and they come off very easily. And you can see, check out the craftsmanship they put on this panel here. So you can see all the little stubs there. And then check it out, even the wheels are like nicely cut out, everything, even that little bevel there. Like just everything. It's just the craftsmanship on this case is just so nice. The way they cut all the aluminum out is so nice. And you can definitely, the quality just kind of keeps going in. And if you really look at each wheel individually, you can see they probably took a while to CNC each wheel out. So there's some definite like real care and work is put into this case, some real pride. It really is the best way to put it. But once you take off the sides, you're delighted with a quite roomy interior. And for ITX PCs goes, this is probably one of the best ones I've ever used to build in. Now, The only good thing this case would be nice if it was a tad wider that supported dual slot video cards. So, see the way when I was talking about it only has one card slot. Well, you know, if you're running an ITX PC and you kind of make it maybe a little LAN friendly, it'd be nice if it had dual slot support. But, you know, there is some good single slot cards out there. So, but anyways, what does this case have inside? Well, we have a removable motherboard tray. Hey, about that! It's got a removable motherboard tray. So, let me zoom in and show you a little bit better about that removable motherboard tray. So as you can see, there's the pin. There's a pin right there that the motherboard sits on. And you can easily remove this. I'm just going to quickly get a screwdriver and show you how easy the motherboard comes out. I did tighten it a bit. So you just got to crack it a bit. Unscrew the little thumb screw here. There's one on each side. So you flip the case around, undo the other one. And another note is, as soon as I take this off, and then after you can just lift this motherboard right out. So it's a removable motherboard tray. Now the reason why you want a removable motherboard tray is you're gonna be able to install all your hardware easier. So let me disconnect everything. Disconnect the power from our motherboard here. Disconnect all our SATAs. Come on. Alright, one SATA, two SATA. And let's get our 24-pin motherboard connector and our front panel off. And that one's going to come off in a second. Oh, it's being a little stiff. Here it goes. So, once you take that off, think about this. When you need to do any hardware upgrades on your computer, and your little ITX PC that's hard to work on, check that out. So your whole motherboard is now out and held in on this nice little aluminum tray. And look, check that out. It even has a hole for a backplate if you put in a CPU cooler, which is great because the way this case is designed, you can actually put a somewhat taller CPU cooler in it. So that's really smart. And having a removable motherboard tray is a big plus in my books. So other cool features about this case, it does include a 300-watt power supply, which is great. So you got your 24-pin connector on it. You got your 4-pin connector on it. It also includes a couple, SATA powers and some Molex powers as well. I got them a little all bundled up here, but it's got enough power to power, your DVD drive that we have on this setup here. We also have a hard drive here. Check out this hard drive bay. It has a Molex power or a SATA power, and then you got your SATA plug right on it. So it's actually kind of a hot swap bay. You can pull out your hard drive and slide it in. Also, it supports, check this. This is like one of the coolest things. So I'm going to pull out your SATA drive bay. So to take out the SATA drive bay, you just kind of push it forward, I think it is, or backwards, one of the two. Let me turn it around and look at it here. So we pull it backwards. It pops out easily, our SATA drive bay. So we have one, not SATA, but I mean SSD. But we have one SSD in it right now. You could put a total of 3 SSDs in here. So there's little screw holes for it. So you can put 3 SSDs in this drive bay, which is pretty awesome. So that means this case supports up a total of 4 drives, including 1 physical hard drive, 3 SSDs, and 1 optical drive. So actually that's a total of 5. My mistake. So it just keeps on getting better as you pull everything out. And check this out. Even though SSDs don't have any moving parts, it has rubber grommets on them. So the vibration from your CD drive, and your hard drive don't go into your SSDs and rattle and make noise, which is great. Also, check out how the hard drive comes out. You undo this thumb screw here, and it just slides out. All you do is you put these guide screws in, and it pretty much makes it a hot swap hard drive, which is sweet. How the CD drive goes in, you got to take out these 2 screws here on this side. You flip the case around. You got to take out yet another 2 screws here. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a pain in the butt. So you got to take those screws out. You kind of pull that back a bit. You have to slide it out, and then you can push the hard drive out from the front. Not really the best system, but it works, And then, in the end, check that out. It looks aesthetically pleasing. It looks really nice. And then we got a 120 millimeter fan in the front of the case here. So actually, let's turn around to the other side so we can see it better. So you can see there's a 120 millimeter fan right in this case. It doesn't even look like this case could be able to hold a 120 millimeter fan, but they put one in. Now this fan's more designed for quietness, not hyper crazy airflow. But it does include a dust filter, which is bonus. It has a wire guard here, so you're not going to get your fingers or any wires caught in it and start breaking blades or just making noise. So that's good as well. It's got a 3-pin connector on it, but it also does include an adapter to go to a Molex connector if you do prefer. Now I'm going to give you guys some quick specs about the power supply. Because, you know, when you're building this PC, you might be doing maybe an APU build or an Ivy Bridge i3 build or a Sandy Bridge i3 build that we have set up in here. But in the future, we'll be showing you guys other cool things you can do with this case. Try to make a gaming version of it out of this case. So we're going to take this power supply out. I did tighten up the screws quite a bit, so I have to use the screwdriver initially. And everything is zip tied in, of course, or just plugged in to something. So let's give you a quick rundown on this power supply. So here's a little power supply. I'm going to give you guys a nice little quick look at it. So let's zoom in on here, focus in on here. So as you can, it has 300 watts. It's got 20 amps on the 3.3 rail, 14 amps on the 12 volt rail. And that's pretty much all you really need to know. It's got a total of 300 watts. So, a lot of really small text there. So let's see if we can focus in on the rails. That's as best as my camera's going to do it. So there you go. It's an FSP group power supply. Peak power total power of 300 watts. So it's nice and small. It's got a small fan on the bottom as well. So that's an 80mm fan. And for outputs, we got our 24-pin. We have our 24-pin. We have one Molex. We have a floppy connector, if such is needed. We have 2 SATAs here. We find 2 more SATA powers, and then our 4-pin. So very basic outputs. You know, it's not a high power supply. It's not going to be doing any external video card setups. So this is all about, you know, a basic, simple HTPC ITX PCs. That's what this is really geared for. Now it's got an active PSC in it, and it's also with noise killer. So apparently, basically it runs, you know, quieter, and it's good. It's actually a decent power supply. It powers this rig really well. We didn't really have an issue, but you know, I was looking into building something that's a little more advanced compared to this, because this doesn't have, you know, as you can see, this has just got an i3 with a 2100, 4 gig of RAM, and just a hard drive SSD and a CD drive, and just the one external fan. So, but you can definitely run, you know, a single video card off this, but that doesn't require external power, and you can run like an APU, or a i3. So you can definitely run something that's a little bit more gaming oriented easily off this setup. So that's pretty much all the features of this case in a nutshell, and it's pretty awesome. Like it's super easy to build. It's got good airflow. It's got good dust filters. You know, you can change out the fan. It's got a lot of good features on it. So the Pc-Q15, what do we think about it? Well, conclusions and thought. It's an excellent case, super small, compact design. Looks phenomenal because, well, it's aluminum case. They got the awesome brushed look. It's black, which always looks classy. Will go with any TV stand perfectly. Biggest thing I hate about aluminum cases is they love fingerprints. And what I found the best way to get the fingerprints out, and you can tell, like, there's fingerprints all over this. I haven't cleaned it throughout the episode, so you're going to see all the fingerprints. It loves the grease off your hands. Like, even your hands are not greasy, but it's like the oils off your hands just seeps into it. And it's just so hard to get out. So the best way is get, like, a microfiber cloth, some Windex, and then you got to rub it along the lines of the brushed aluminum grains, and now get it out. It's a lot of work, but sometimes it gets out and sometimes it doesn't. You really got to maintain it and just don't really touch the case. It's kind of like almost like a gloss case. So, but besides that, it's an excellent case. You know, that's just a problem with all aluminum cases, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, another really cool thing about this case, as we mentioned, was it is aluminum, so it's lightweight. Also, it's these awesome removable sides. So these sides come off really easy. I love the pegs on them. That's like one of the it's an innovation, period. Flat out, it's just a wicked idea. It's way better than screws. It's way better than anything else I've ever seen on any aluminum cases. So you can, you know, access your case, get into it super easy. Love how it has a removable motherboard tray. Now, most aluminum cases, especially ones from Lian, your motherboard is usually planted on one of the sides, and you take the side off. It comes with the motherboard. This one actually has a true removable motherboard tray with a back plate, so you can actually put a CPU cooler on here without taking off the case or taking off the side. That's a real pain in the arse, and this corrects that issue, so which makes it awesome. And there's actually room underneath the motherboard tray, so you could run wires underneath it, and ventilation will get underneath your motherboard, which is sweet. So the tray comes out with only 2 screws, which is awesome. So this is like, even for aluminum case, this is like very minimal in the whole screw thing, because aluminum cases are notorious for everything is held in with little screws. There's nothing toolless. Also, 300 watt power supply, which is great. It's got a little 80 millimeter fan. It's super small. It's black, so it matches everything. There's no sleeving on the cables, but you know the sides are never open, and there's no window to it. You're not really gonna notice it, and there's not that much wires anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Also, you could put the 3 SSDs in here, and the whole cage is removable if not necessary, really. And it also supports one 3.5-inch drive bay, along with a full-size DVD drive, which is sweet. So you got all that, and the 120 millimeter included fan with the dust filter, which is really cool too. Now, these are the only 2 complaints I have about the case. One, you can't put a dual slot video card on the back here, so only single slot, which kind of sucks, and it really limits you for video cards or expansion. Other thing is the biggest thing I haven't talked about at all. Fortunately, it's the price. Now, I'm going to let you guys guess for a second. So, guess at a price. You might be thinking maybe, okay, the last Lian case we reviewed, which was another ITX case, was in the around $100 range. That would sound about right for something like this. About $100, not bad. It's aluminum. You know, it's got a lot of innovative features on it. About $100 is not bad. That's a reasonable price, I would say, to pay for it. We'll try $179 for this case. Yeah, $179 MSRP. So it may vary as the case gets older, but right now, MSRP is $179. Bit steep, I think, but it's an excellent case for what you get. So you get a lot of stuff for your money, but it's not a very big case. There's a lot of other cases you can get, but if you're into ITX and that's what you want to build, well, you kind of got to pay to play. So unfortunately, that is the price that it does come in. So that's the only downside. Those are the only 2 things we don't like about it. But besides that, it's an excellent case. I love it. So it's a sweet case. It's going to make an amazing home theater PC, and we'll be doing a home theater PC build in this case. And we'll show you guys what we used. Just give me a couple of months to find the parts I want and save the money to buy the parts. So yeah. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the TechSource.tv. This is the Pc-Q15 all in bits, but it's a wicked case overall. Easy to build, fit lots of hardware on it, includes a power supply, and well, the side panels are just awesome. So see you guys later. Remember to subscribe, check out our Facebook page, and also like this video. See you guys later.